Good morning, sales team six. It is February 2nd, 2026. And it's a freaking awesome February 2nd to have a great February 2nd, folks. I don't know if you guys remember where you guys were at last February 2nd, but I wasn't as motivated as I am today. Speaking of motivation, look at Jorts McPremium down there. What floor are you on, buddy? 180? 68, 25. I saw some numbers there.
68.
68, almost at the top of the World Trade Centers. Almost. Too soon? Landon didn't like that one. All
I
right.
love that.
All right. Very good. It's just a metaphor for height. No, nothing else. All right, let's jump right into it, folks. I do not want to get rid of this whiteboard because I spent a couple minutes on it, and I feel like if I hit the X button, it will disappear. Maybe not. Don't know. I didn't test it out. Let's see. So let's jump into it. Anybody got anything on their chest, on their mind, on their soul that they want to share? I feel like there's one person that wants to share something. I don't know who, I don't know why. Just something good. We feeling good or what?
Feeling great, Pat. It was a great day to be alive. I got something, Pat.
That's right. Let's go. Good vibes.
Uh, Something great, something good that's going on. I did my call this morning. I felt really good about that. Felt really jacked up.
Yeah.
Um, and I have Landon here. A little mishap. iPad does not want to work. So that sucks, but we'll figure it out later. It's all good. I have my iPad. Yeah, we're doing good.
Nice. One of the things that way to step up and if you want to for anybody, if you just want to continue to grow, um, they say, when you get into a certain point, you want to, as you elevate in the food chain of business or finances or what have you, it's important to learn to say no to things, right? And I think when we first start in business, I think it's important to say yes to virtually everything, right? If it gets you moving down the road towards your goal, which we'll talk about here in just a second. The reason why I bring that up is George said, "Hey, can somebody cover for me tomorrow on the call?" Brock immediately said, "Hell yeah!" So that's what I mean by saying yes to everything. And Brock, that type of that type of strategy, that type of mentality, that type of action of just saying, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I got you. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll volunteer. That's what's led me to be able to do trainings for all of Orca for now 2 years in a row, is just saying yes to stuff, right? And what's kind of unbelievable if even Landon and Tanner, I know you guys are brand new, just start saying yes to stuff. Just start saying yes to stuff like, hey, if trainings is something you want to do, if talking on stage at the conference next year or the year after that is something that you want to do, just start saying yes to stuff now. And it's unbelievable how little, how often you can actually do trainings if you just seek out the opportunities. I remember when I was coming up, like it was like every other week I was doing a training call because, some other team leader didn't want to do it or something had come up. And I'd just always be on GroupMe or in the group chat just saying, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. And the person who's giving it up is like, oh, thank goodness. Right. Glenn and Scott are like, oh, thank goodness. Like it got covered. That's off our plate. And then for us, we're like, okay, great. Hey, I get to practice. I get to add value. Fantastic. So when you first start in your business, when you first start in your career, you really want to say yes to virtually everything if it moves you in the direction that you want to go, right? If doing trainings is not things that you want to do at all, you have zero calling to do that, no problem. But just food for thought with anything, right? Hey, I want to have a team one day. Okay, great. Reach out to the new guys. Oh, but he's not my new guy. Where does it say in the rule book that you can't reach out to teammates, even if they're not on your team, even if they're not on sales team six? even if they're not in Orca. So volunteers say yes to everything and watch what happens. One, you add value to others. Two, you get fantastic practice. Three, you get your name you get your name out there. So, okay, cool. We're gonna jump into. I've been reading Think and Grow Rich recently. Does this copy look familiar there, D-Win?
Desire, yes. I love this one.
Yes, yes.
Burning Desire, it talks about.
There you go. Yes. So this was on chapter two. D-Win got me a copy of this book. I got a different copy, and it's got so many little notes in there. It's nice to have a clean, fresh copy to go back through. So thank you, D-Win, for being a good friend and good teammate. It's one of my favorite books. It's dense, um, and it's a slow read. If you're doing 10 pages a day, that might be a little much on the Think and Grow Rich, because ultimately, if you're anything like me, getting it from Bob Proctor, as he said, he'll spend days on one paragraph. He'll spend days on one page until he gets what the author is trying to tell him, teach him. So if you're reading this book properly, really any book, you shouldn't really be flying through books, right? Unless you got a photographic memory and you're picking up everything. You want to be studying books as if everything that they're telling you is true, right? Until you figure out that they have no idea what they're talking about or they've lied to you, right? Until then, anything you read in a book, hey, you just accept it as truth. That really helps me be like, or just ask this question: what if that's true, right? For instance, I'm just going to randomly open to a page. Um, let's see. But a burning riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. So it says it will bring riches if you have a state of mind that becomes an obsession, if you have definite plans, and you back those plans by persistence. And it says will bring riches. I just randomly opened to page 26 and I read that. So what if that's true? That's a great way to when you're listening to information or reading in a book, just assume like, what if that is true? What if that's completely true? Okay, then I need to be obsessed. I need to have definite plans, and I need to have persistence, which does not recognize failure. So at least that gives me optimism. I'm like, okay, great, a game plan. I don't need to figure anything out. I just need to follow direction. So when you read and you're accepting information as truth, like at least for me, it helps me take action and it leaves the thinking out of it. I'm like, oh, great, he's giving me instructions. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is the instructions that Napoleon Hill gives in chapter two. Okay, and I've written out some notes here. These are just from my notes that I put on a whiteboard. Um, what's interesting, it seems like Bob Proctor kind of it's kind of frustrating to listen to, and even the book is a little frustrating because it doesn't sometimes it gives you exact instructions, sometimes you have to extract it. So these are the instructions that I extracted from this entire chapter, and it just really hit me in between the eyes. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Okay. So in chapter two, it's the chapter on desire. Desire, desire, desire. Can somebody look up the word desire? Just look up the word desire, and I want you to read the definition or a couple of definitions that you see. Desire.
Yeah, Pat. The definition of desire is a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen.
A strong want. A strong want. Something a coach of mine had said about desire a long time ago. It comes from like desire or something of that nature from Latin, and I believe and maybe you can see it in there, Dylan, if it expands more. But it's basically like a want that was delivered by God, right? So if you have a desire to do a thing or to have a thing or to be this type of man or woman, well, the root of desire means that comes from God, that comes from the universe, right? Have you ever heard anybody say, hey, you didn't get that dream by accident? Where'd that come from? Right? And then, so it's a whisper, it's a seed that's been planted by God, right? Dylan wants to make 100 grand in a month. We're not saying you can't do that or like, whoa, what a weird goal. No, no, no. Like, Dylan, where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? Did it just pop up one day and it's stuck or what?
Kinda. I always wanted to be a millionaire since I was 16, but the real goal came from this video of a guy basically hitting that, and then he paid off his mom's mortgage. So it was like, dude, how many people's lives can I change when I hit 100K? So it became my goal.
There you go. Yeah, and it's emotionally linked to helping out family or helping out friends or helping out people close to you, right? That's an income target that helps you create your own economy. And we're all creating our own economies. We won't go into that on this call. So we start with a desire, right? So in the book, he talks about this. If you look at the top left corner here, desire to become, and if you're taking notes, this is a good note taking call. Is a desire to become this type of person or a definite goal or something of that nature. Maybe it's an elite business person, right? Maybe it's a desire to, or you can also have desire to have or become a goal or desire. And I was going through my notes here. I don't know if you guys can see this box just full of papers and notebooks. These are all my training notes and all just random notes that I've been keeping the last 5 years. I'm going through all of it right now just to make sure that I'm not missing some of the best trainings I've ever done or thoughts I've ever done so I can deliver at the conference. But one thing I saw is a lot of my like I kept all my goals, not all my goals, but like at some point I started keeping all my goals that I started writing down. And one of them was I want to lead a team. And I remember when I wrote that down, because the assignment right now is to write down who you want to become or what you want to have or what your goal is. So as I was writing down or as I was going through this box, it seemed like 98%, especially the older ones from 2016, 2017, 2018, a lot of my older goals, they seem so big when I wrote them down. And about 98% of them I've already hit. One of them said I want to drive a 4Runner. And I remember I wrote that down when I was driving a Prius. And now I'm on my second 4Runner. And one of them was have earn $100,000. I remember writing that down in my first few weeks. And it seemed so big. It seemed so not me. It seemed like I'd never hit it, but I was told to write it down. What do you want? Hey man, dude, I definitely want to make 100 grand. Okay, great. Write it down. So that's your desire. That's your goal. What is your goal? And I read something in my 10X. I went to a 10X growth conference in 2017 or 18. And in there, one of the speakers says 99% of everything you write down comes true. What if that's true? What if it's just 90%? Because from my experience, as I'm going through my entire career of notes, at least that I've been saving, um, like 95% of all the goals have been hit. And if you roll with me for a long time, it has not been smooth, right? It has not been smooth. There's been hiccups, there's been setbacks, but it starts with a definite goal or desire. Okay, so number one is what is your goal? What is your desire? And just start letting it flow. Just start letting it flow. This is recorded, so we'll put it on school for all those driving. I really wasn't thinking too much about Monday at 10 o'clock that most of our guys could be driving. So I'm always improving there. So you must have a desire to have or to become, have a definite goal or definite desire. Okay. Now, second step is constantly intensify this desire. Let's get some shares on how are ways that you can constantly intensify this desire. Maybe you've had experience doing this in the past. Maybe you did it on accident.
Yeah, I can share here, Pat.
Yeah.
Um, the one way that like I intensified my desire to become top 10 agent was just literally think about it every single second of every day. And I even dreamed about it, like about walking across the stage
Yes.
with the trophy and everything
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I already practiced taking pictures of my rookie of the year. How's this? Here's a moment, Glenn.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And so envision what that actually looks like. I remember I was going for Mr. Orca in 2018. I made that intention in January, right? And I would think about it a lot. And I'd be like, hey, what does Mr. Orca do? Right? Well, he grows his team, he's a producer at a high level, and he contributes to the forward movement of the entire company. So that was my focus the whole year. D Win came over the other day and he started looking through our trophies. And he's like, "Whoa, you guys really blew up from 2018 to 2019." Yes, because that was the year that I really focused. I think it was the year that I focused the most, besides maybe 2022, to right around 300 grand. But I constantly intensified the desire, and I pictured myself getting that. And when it came to it, I remember sitting there, I was next to David Curry against the wall. And that's not exactly how I pictured it, but I was super nervous because I'm like, I might not get it. There's a lot of other great qualified candidates. Whatever happens, happens. If I don't get it, then I'm just going to redo it for next year and just, hey, what did I learn? How can I be better? And then they ended up calling my name, and it was very close to what I had imagined. So whatever you want, whether it's top 10 or whatever it is, how can you envision that? In the field, I used to envision, hey, this next lead's gonna have some Lincoln heritage, right? Like I'm gonna be rolling back to the Airbnb, like, yeah, let's go. However, I hadn't sat down with anybody. I've already been door killed twice, and I got a call from a lady who charged back from the week prior. So all the circumstances may look like it's not going to go down, and we must lock in to and intensify our desire, right? So Moody, as you're going through your year last year of top 10, were there times where it seemed like it wasn't going to happen?
All the time.
All
Oh
the
shit!
time. All the
Sorry,
time.
someone almost hit me.
Yeah. Focus on driving.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all the time. Those those thoughts creep in more than we want.
Yep.
But ultimately, I think it just kind of comes down to how bad do you want it?
Mm-hmm. That's right. There's a book or there's a quote in the book by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. And he says, your circumstances may be uncongenial, meaning unfavorable. It doesn't look like it's going down, right? There's stuff that's going on, right? What did Connor say? All the time, it seemed like I wasn't going to hit top 10. So our circumstances may appear uncongenial, but they will not long remain so if we conceive an idea and persist towards its attainment. Basically, in context of Connor's top 10 goal, it's like, look, it didn't seem like I was going to get top 10. There's a lot of evidence saying I'm not going to get top 10, right? Either true or false, whatever, but it's true in our mind. Our circumstances may be unfavorable right now, but they will not long remain so if we conceive an idea, meaning top 10, and we persist towards its attainment, meaning just keep moving forward, which leads us to our next one here. So you want to constantly intensify this desire. The next step is you want to place all your energy, all your willpower, and all your effort, if you go down here, towards work that provides an opportunity to take even one step towards its cherished goal. So if you're Tanner in this situation in this season, what is one step towards its cherished goal? That could be just getting licensed or getting contracted. Yeah, that's one step, right? If you're top 10, hey man, I'm going to the territory, I'm on a training call. Hey, are you moving in the direction of your goal? And so it's not like, hey, does it look like I'm going to hit my goal? Hey, do I even have confidence that it's going to happen? Like, oh, I need evidence that it's going to happen before I move forward, before I continue to commit. No, no, no. It says place all your energy, all your willpower, and all your effort towards work that provides an opportunity to take even one step towards its cherished goal. One step. So that means, am I moving in that direction? So for those that may feel lost or off track or something of that nature, like number one, we got to have the goal, right? So for B Law, it may be 50K stacked right now. Hey, look, am I moving in that direction? Am I taking one step towards that cherished goal? If it's a yes, by definition, Earl Nightingale's definition, you are successful. Success is not a finish line. It's a progressive, what does he say? Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's just, we've just now named it 3 different ways on as long as you have a goal and you're moving in its direction, you are successful by definition. So hopefully that's encouraging even to a day one agent. Tanner and Landon haven't even been out in the field yet. Hey man, are you moving towards your goal? If it's yes, then by definition you're successful, right? You're just as successful as Dylan because you guys are both moving towards your goals. So hopefully that's encouraging to folks because I always measured myself against Kevin's new house, Kevin's new boat, right? The great father he is. Whatever. Like Kevin was an ideal dude that I was looking at because he was earning the money I wanted. He was number one guy, blah, blah. He knew the business. But I wish I would have known this a little sooner because I would have been a little bit more optimistic. I would have been a little bit more the feeling of on track, right? So as long as you place all your energy, you place all your willpower, place all your effort towards work that provides an opportunity to take even one step towards that cherished goal. By definition, in this moment in time, you are successful. So, for instance, if you're on the way to the territory right now, you could have all these thoughts coming up in your mind. Hey, man, are you moving towards your goal? Yes. Then by definition, right now you're successful. Any thoughts or comments on this part? Dr. Brahms. Doctor.
Yeah, I'm here, Pat.
MD Brahms.
Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this thing. I can't even see your face, to be honest. It's just
That's
the
fine.
whiteboard.
Yeah, you don't need to see my face.
Yeah. And I was honestly I just figured out I could zoom on it without drawing on it. Yeah, I mean, really the only comment I have, Pat, is, we've heard it all before. It's just doing it, you know? But I'm looking at this and honestly, let me read the cost. Yeah. I'm looking at this and it's basically everything you say, just all out in front of us, right? Create a plan, definitive plans. Yeah,
How
just
is this applying for you right now?
right now,
Uh-huh.
I'll be completely honest. I'm not on the way to the territory. I just got back from the gym and I'm eating now. It's not really applying to me right now, if I'm being honest with you.
Is that a feeling or a fact?
I did go to the gym.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, and I'm eating salmon, which is also good. Just like yeah, I guess yeah. It's a feeling. It's a feeling.
So were you on all 3 conference calls this morning? Orca Sales Team 6, and you're on this one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So one of your goal, what's your definite goal this year? Let's just unpack this real quick, or a couple.
Lose weight for sure. I want to lose 20 pounds.
Right on.
And I think that would make me feel a whole lot better. It goes into everything, more confidence out in the field. We always say, go to the gym, you'll feel better throughout your day. I want to lose 20 pounds for sure. I want to have 85,000 stacked in my bank account.
Come on.
And finish 2 more books.
Come on. Now by when? Is this all by the end of the year?
Yeah, ideally before, but I haven't really put a date on myself yet, for sure.
Gotcha. And that comes in. Thank you for sharing there, Brahms. So one
Thanks,
last
guys.
thing here, and we'll unpack it, is you got to have an end date. You got to have an end date. How does he put it here? Um, oh, here we go. Number 3, which we haven't gotten to the 6 steps, but number 3 is a definite date for intending or possessing the money and or goal. So 20 pounds by when? You don't have to answer, but did you have a date for that?
Not a for sure date, no.
So this is a great example. And we're not kicking Brahms in the butt like, hey man, we're all learning, right? And so number 3, it's not on here, which we'll go over here in just a second, but we need to have a definite date intending to possess this goal or the money, right? So 85K by my suggestion for Brahms. Anybody else is your money goal? You need to have it by a date.
Actually, Pat, can I correct myself here?
Sure.
Actually, it just crossed my mind. I know I always thought about this. I just slipped my mind. Actually, me and Chris are moving in together,
All
and the
right.
money goal is I want to have enough back end money to pay our bills every month.
Okay. And do you know what your bills are every month?
Not a for sure number, but I got a ballpark what it will be.
Specificity matters. I listened to a Ed Milet podcast yesterday, and he said it's crazy how common it is that we have goals that are generalities, right? Now, these are specific goals, like enough to cover, like that's a number, enough to cover my bills from kickbacks alone, 20 pounds, 85K. Like those are pretty specific. Now, can we get more specific? Yes, we would need to know how much our bills are going to be, right? I know you got a generality. You probably haven't picked out a house, so it might be impossible to get an exact number right now, but we need an exact number and exact date. Now, interesting. Listen to how Brahms talked. Yeah, there you go. Whatever you think the number is, double it. Yeah, be safe. I love that, Dylan. Oh no, I stacked twice as much as I was thinking I had to. Oh no, like let's do that. And so with Brahms, he's like, man, I know I'm not in the territory. Da, 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 da. That's our mind saying, hey man, we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough. We're not doing enough. But look at this, Brahms. Is your goal is to lose 20 pounds at some point this year? You went to the gym and you're eating salmon, right? Instead of cinnamon toast crunch, right? So by definition, are we placing our energy, our willpower, and our effort towards work that provides an opportunity to take one step towards this cherished goal? So is choosing salmon over cinnamon toast crunch in the morning, Brahms, does that help you get one step closer to your cherished goal of losing 20 pounds?
Yeah.
So by definition, this beautiful, beautiful, handsome man, Brahms, Dr. Brahms Langok IV, is successful in this moment because he's moving towards work that provides an opportunity for one step towards the cherished goal.
Sorry, Dylan just sent me a stupid freaking text, dude.
Cool. That's good. So isn't it a little bit more encouraging to look at it through that lens, Brahms?
It is. It is. Yeah. Sometimes you need a helping hand finding the sorry, I read George's message here. Sometimes you need a helping hand to see the positive side of things.
Exactly. Because if we can measure our success based on our direction and our intention, it gives, at least for me, it gives me more peace versus, I'm not far enough, or I'm not earning what he is, or my business doesn't look like his, or my business doesn't look like mine used to, or whatever we think to ourselves. So I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. The second section. Okay. We won't even get to the 6 steps. The last part is we got to create a definite plan. We got to create a definite plan. We got to create a plan. So how are we, if we're going for Brahms is losing 20 pounds? Brahms, what's your plan right now? What's your plan to lose 20 pounds?
Yeah, I mean, you guys all know this. I lost 100 pounds a couple years back. Put on some more weight, and I was planning on just doing it the same exact way. Track my calories. Uh, Go to the gym way more often. Obviously, at least 4 times a week. Excuse me.
Oh, good catch.
Uh, yeah, just tracking calories. I downloaded this app, the same app I had whenever I lost 100. It's called LifeSum. I really like it. It's like a cartoon. Uh, and yeah, I mean that's really my plan is just track my calories and work out more. As simple as I was doing that before.
Awesome. You notice how so that's a good enough plan right there. Hey, track my calories. Is that daily, weekly,
Daily.
meally? I don't know if that's a word, but is it by meal at the end of the day, in the morning? When do you do it?
Just daily. So like as I eat things, whenever I eat food, I just track it like right then and there.
Okay. So track as you go. Fantastic. And then the other thing, you notice how Brahm said, yeah, and then go to the gym 3 or 4 times. And then he said, no, 4 times a week. You see how he got specific? Right? And so this is how you want to pick apart your plan and your goal. Is it specific? You know, because we like how do you know you're winning on 3 or 4 times a week? So you go 4 1 day, 1 week, success, go another 3 times another week. Is that a success too? But we're not as specific, right? So we need specificity in our plans, right? And Brahms corrected himself, which was great to witness. So with creating definite plans, you must have definite plans, right? So Brahms, success leaves clues. He lost 100 pounds. That's what he did in the past. So he knows that works. Success is doing the right things in the right way. He said, look, man, I've been successful in this area before 5 times as much as what I'm trying to do right now. And I just did those 2 things. Definite plans, love it. You'll hit your goal for sure. The other thing that's required down here is having the burn the bridges mentality. Basically, we need to have no other option except to advance. No other option except to advance. So the example that Napoleon Hill uses in the book, he talks about a general back in the day who takes his troops. They're trying to invade another country, and they load all their supplies, all their troops, all their horses, all their gear on a bunch of boats, and they sail across. Let's just call it the Mediterranean, and then hit the enemy's coast. The first thing after they unload all the trips, the general commands the troops to burn the ships. And the troops are like, what the hell? That's our ride home. And he said, look, guys, as you can see on the horizon, the ships are burning. That is our way home. So the only way we go home is if we are victorious. So we either survive and go home or we perish here in this country. And so that is the burn the ships mentality. That is, we win or we die. Burn the ships mentality, right? I actually wrote down burn the bridges mentality. Basically, when you cross a bridge and you're going that way, hey, you burn the bridge behind you. I ain't retreating. So we got to have the no retreat type of mentality with our plans. And you want to create definite plans and execute those until it becomes a dominating obsession. Brahms, how long have you been doing this deal where you're tracking your calories and going to the gym 4 times a week?
Consistently about a week.
Okay. Have you noticed it being easier or more exciting to track your calories or eat salmon? Have you felt energy from doing that stuff? Good energy, more excitement, more gumption. What have you noticed?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, I have. Now it's a little hard sometimes when you don't see results
Yep.
yet.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
but I do feel good. I feel better about myself knowing that I'm doing the right thing, and I know the results will come eventually.
Yeah, so it's been easier to track your stuff. The first day it was kind of like a chore, and now it's less of a chore and more it's
Yeah.
a habit, right? And
Hmm.
so what's happening right now in Brahms is just our case study for this call today. Thank you, Brahms. Is it's becoming a dominating obsession, right? I haven't known Brahms to eat salmon in the morning. So by seeing him do that now, that is so cool to witness. And it's becoming who he is. And so this needs to become who we are. Some people call it identity. So Brahms is casting a vote every time he logs his calories. He's casting a vote that, hey, I am fit, Dr. Brahms, right? Every time he goes to the gym when he didn't want to, but it's part of his goal, it's part of his definite goal, definite plans, and he executes on that plan. He's casting a vote for that's who he is now. And then before you know it, you look up, and then all of a sudden, people are like, dude, you're shredded. Bro, you're so consistent in the gym. And then you're like, okay, how did this happen? So this is the first step, according to Napoleon Hill, to getting what you want out of life. In a quick review, you must have a desire to have or become something. You must have a definite goal, right? 20 pounds is an exact goal, right? Top 10 agent, that's an exact goal. 85 grand in my savings account stacked, that's an exact goal. Definite goal, not vague. Specificity matters. Find creative ways to constantly intensify this desire, right? What's that 85K going to do for me? What's that 20 pounds loss going to do for me, right? How can I put it in front of me, right? I used to have the post-it notes that say 100K stacked on my dashboard, and I'm minus 2 grand in a chargeback hole, and I haven't written anything. It's Wednesday at noon, right? Sometimes I'll look at that post-it note in the past and I'm like, it's bullshit. It's so far away, man. But I kept it there to constantly intensify my desire. I honestly didn't know at the time. I just knew that I wanted to move in that direction. And then you want to place all your energy, all your willpower, and all your effort towards work. This is my favorite part about the whole thing, is towards work that provides an opportunity to take even one step towards that cherished goal. I'll give you an example. Last Friday felt some type of way. But if you look behind me here, we got our podcast studio mostly set up. And so does that mean we're successful right now? We haven't recorded anything, we haven't done anything. Oh yeah, no one can see it. All right. Well, anyways, there's some podcast stuff behind me now. Before it was just music stuff. So we took one step towards that cherished goal. So by definition right now, it's not, hey, are we going to be successful? Hey, are we going to be consistent? Hey, how's the scheduling going to work? Hey, how are we going to keep coming up with content? Is this even going to work? Blah, 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 blah. No. Are we taking one step towards the cherished goal? It's yes or no. If it's yes, by definition, you're successful in this moment in time. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, meaning if we're moving in the direction, we are successful in this moment in time. I love the metaphor of whenever I'm standing at the door, waiting for them to come to the door and answer. I've got all this stuff in my mind, and I'm like, hey, at least in this moment in time, I'm moving in the right direction. Door kill, sit and nap, don't matter. I'm moving in the direction. Last thing is create definite plans, definite specific plans to attain that goal. You can adjust these as time goes on, and they should be adjusted because you just become more and more experienced. But you got to have the burn the bridges mentality. You've got to have the burn the ships mentality, meaning no other option except for to advance. And the last thing is you keep fortifying this idea until it becomes a dominating obsession. Isn't it interesting that Napoleon Hill, who studied the top 500 most successful people. Thank you, Dylan. 500 most successful people at the time, including Thomas Edison and Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford. He was with these people for 25 years and then wrote the book. Why does he say obsession? Why does Ed Mylett say obsession? Why does Grant Cardone have a book that says be obsessed or be average? So we might need to reframe how we look at obsession. Obsession typically has a negative connotation. But, if you're doing drugs all the time, that's a bad obsession. But if you're obsessed about losing 20 pounds, how could that possibly be a negative obsession? So it's interesting that obsession continues to pop up in some of the best minds when they're talking about success. Something to think about. Maybe you need to lean into your goal and become obsessed about it. Food for thought. Food for thought. That's all I wanted to do on this call. He goes on to do six steps on how to attain this goal. We've already gone over a couple. I can post them in the group chat if you'd like. And let's go through the chat here before we boogie. As I'm going through the chat and reading, what's a takeaway? What's a takeaway or a comment to where you've seen this, where you've applied this in your life perhaps, and you've seen it play out positively, or just a comment or takeaway? Brock, and then
Yes.
somebody else. Yeah.
A comment is, I remember this was probably about a month ago because it's in my car. So, me and Dylan were on the phone one day. We were talking, and we were talking about obsession. And I have a sticky note in my car that says, "Let obsession eat your life away, because that just means you'll make a new one."
Can you say that again?
It says, "Let obsession eat your life away, because that just means you'll make a new one."
Ooh, there you go.
And I was driving and I looked over and I'm like, oh, and then all I hear is obsession, obsession, obsession. I'm like, oh, wow, I have a sticky note that says that. How ironic.
Let's go,
Right.
baby.
But yeah, big takeaway for me is, make sure that you have what you want in front of you and you're thinking about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's want to be top 10, wanting to be a leader, I keep saying all the time, I want to be a leader. So I'm going to become a leader, and I'm slowly moving to it. I have a long ways to go, but I'm taking my action steps to get there.
Exactly. And if I can give you a little grace and encouragement right now, look to your right real quick.
Taking him on today.
Is he following you right now?
Yeah, I'd hope so. He's in the car.
Then are you placing your energy, your willpower, and your effort towards work that provides an opportunity to take one step towards that cherished goal? Would that be a yes right now?
Yeah,
Towards
it is.
leadership? So,
Yes, sir.
you know how you said, hey, I just want to be a leader? Hey, perish the thought, brother, because right now in this moment in time, you're successful at being a leader. Because we think it's a finish line. We think, wait, once we'll get there. Yeah. You're doing it right now, man. So by definition, you're successful in that goal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now you're not Ed Milet, but you're the start. But who gives a shit? You're Brock Ward. You're Brocktimus Prime. You're not Ed Milet, and neither am I. Right? So we have our own journey. So in this moment in time, you're placing your energy, your effort, and your willpower towards a goal, towards work that provides an opportunity to take one step. So that should be encouraging for us. Hey, man, at least in this moment in time, I'm successful. I'm moving that direction. I am a leader right now. There's nothing in any book that it's like, hey, once you cross this line, then you're a leader. Ha ha. You're there. Hell no. It's not how it works. So it always gives me encouragement when I'm like, hey, man, at least I'm moving towards that goal. So by definition, I'm successful right now. Because sometimes we think it has to be a number. Sometimes we think it has to be like, I don't know. Like I always thought it was like to speak at the conference. Then I did. Then I'm like, okay, now what? So I love that, Brock. You're successful right now, buddy. In that endeavor of becoming a leader. Who else?
Yeah, I got one, Pat.
Let's go, Moods.
Really, my takeaway and something that I kind of forgot was the quote that you said of Earl Nightingale, and that it's literally seared into my brain. Success is the progressive realization of a worldly ideal. Whenever I first heard that, it just that was so profound to me because I never knew what it meant until I really kind of studied exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder, great quote and everything like that. But I also love what you talk about of like being obsessed because I feel like that's really when my business and my life changed completely, like
Uh-huh.
upgraded.
Yep.
Whenever I started becoming obsessed over the things that I want rather than the things that I'm fearful of, because Ed Milet talks about it of we or we obsess over the things we want most regularly in life, or we'll eventually possess those things, or something like that. And if we obsess over the fears and the worries, then we possess those. I stopped obsessing over that and started obsessing over what I want. And my life worked out for the better.
Mm-hmm. And what happened in seasons when you weren't obsessed?
I felt like I was unaligned.
Mm-hmm. Maybe lost and perhaps even consistently letting ourselves down.
Yes.
I feel that pretty consistently at times, and it's times when I'm not mashing the freaking gas. I don't think it's about 7 days a week, 24/7. That's not how I operate the best. Um, but I do think it is to have a healthy amount of obsession towards whatever we're going towards. If you want to move faster towards your goal, way faster than you think, be consistent and persistent in placing your energy, your willpower, and your effort towards work that provides an opportunity to take even one step towards that cherished goal. Because I bet there were times when you were top 10, when you were chasing the top 10 and didn't feel like it was going down. I didn't write anything today. That's not what a top 10 agent does. Maybe we slow down in the field. Fuck, dude. See, I'm not going to be a top 10. Any of those thoughts ever ring about in the head last year?
Almost every
Yes.
day.
Almost every day. So it's not like our thoughts go away and the governor on our life and on our business, it's always there, but it can be quieter. It can have less of a grip on ourselves. And as long as you're working towards work that provides an opportunity to take one step closer, then you start turning into a jorts. And then everybody looks at you like this Greek god chiseled from marble, beautiful human being that just poops out premium.
Hell yeah.
And but you didn't see him along the way. We did. And he was doing some version of this consistently. So keep your mind open to where you can go. Keep your mind open to where this thing can take you. Keep your mind open to the power of consistency and persistence. Consistency is our superpower. Persistence, meaning, what does he say here? This all needs to be backed by persistence, which does not recognize failure. Which does not recognize failure, meaning whatever setbacks we're going through, meaning whatever mistakes we've made in the past, persistence does not recognize failure. That means, hey, no matter what, I'm going to continue to move forward. Damn, that sucked. Why did I put myself through that? Why did I buy that 4Runner the day after Pat told me to not buy a 4Runner? And then I had to sell it 6 months later. Mistakes happen. We make mistakes, but do we persist through those mistakes? Because guess what? You have been going with you this whole time. And we must persist. Let's get one more takeaway from
I think
Desire.
Tanner's got one.
I could go, Pat. Oh, never mind.
All right, Croatian
Go ahead,
Tiger,
Robert.
then somebody else. Whoever
Okay.
else is talking.
Yeah, my camera's off because my phone overheated. Sorry.
Oh,
Anyways. Yeah, for me, like the takeaway in a sense is obviously kind of like Moody mentioned their obsession, but it's the fact that like you don't just become obsessed. Obsession is a choice. You choose to be obsessed about things. And that's one thing to mention. And also what you said about things don't happen by accident, right? We don't just magically become good at something. It's that obsession and the choice of being obsessed by wanting to be better that makes us better. You know, it's crazy. Like even just like for example, in the physical aspect of the gym and everything. Like Moody and I went to do this scan, to see how much body fat percent we have. And though like it was for me, like it was 20%, Moody was like 15%. You think it's pretty high. Like even the guy that would work there, like this doesn't happen by accident, right? Because we put the work in for that. It goes the same thing into the business. If you put the work in, it doesn't accidentally just get better. It just compounds over time because you're obsessed about it.
Yes. Yeah, the compound effect is real. The only problem is we don't see it happening until maybe you just measure with a professional, right? That guy is at the gym, he sees people come and do the body fat all the time. You see your body fat, you're like, fatty. But he looks at it, a professional, and he's like, hey man, that's really good. And so sometimes we need a perspective shift. I love that. I love that. I love that. Let's get one more takeaway. There was somebody else that said something at the same time.
It's kind of like last week, Connor was telling me I was super stressed out about stuff. He was like, you're sitting there obsessing over what you're stressed out about. He was like, I don't know how to not do that. And he sat there and he was just like, well, try to not think about that. Think about what you're looking for, what you want to get to. That's what you're going to test. And that really did help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shifting our focus to our destination and not the roadblock. If we get they're gonna be, if you're driving somewhere over a long distance, like there's things that happen. Think about, let's just take a trip 100 years ago. All right. It doesn't really happen too much anymore, right? The only thing that slows us down on our road trip is going to be construction, a wreck, or weather. And I've driven back to Kentucky like 150 times since I've moved out here. And that doesn't happen very often. So let's take a trip back 100 years ago. You know why everybody says be careful? Old timers say be careful whenever you leave their house. Have you ever noticed that every client tells you be careful? Anybody ever notice that? Be careful. Why do they say that? Because their parents did, and their parents before that, and their parents before that, and their parents before that. Why is that? Because on road trips, I learned this in Eastern Kentucky. I was like, Glenn, why does everybody say be careful? He's like, one, you're on back roads and there's coal trucks, but it's kind of an old timer thing because sometimes whenever somebody would go on a trip, a lot of times they wouldn't come back. If you think back 100 years ago and you're going across country from the East Coast to the West Coast, that's a 6 to 8 month trip. Well, if you ever played the Oregon Trail, not everybody makes it on that trip, right? And so are we thinking about the roadblock or are we thinking about the destination? And that's what I think Tanner's talking about is, hey man, I was thinking about the roadblocks and Connor helped me look at the destination and not the roadblocks. So we'll look at the destination and not the roadblocks. That's where persistent, definite goal. Where's my destination? Persistence, meaning it doesn't matter what gets in my way. I'm going to make it anyways. Great takeaways. Thank you, Tanner. Thank you, Moody. Thank you, Brock. Thanks for all that's shared. Brahms is not in here, so you might need to send that text to Brahms directly there, Jorts. Actually, I'll
Got you.
I can do it right now if you want.
I was going to pop in real quick here. Yeah. That's actually something I'm going to talk about at the conference. But my view of this business is you should constantly be changing what you're attacking. So like when I first started this business, my goal wasn't to be a millionaire, right? I mean, of course it is, but let's be realistic. I had $1,000 to my name, right? So my first goal when I joined this business was I'm going to stop looking at prices when I go out to dinner, right? Something as small as that. And then it became, I'm going to make Scott Morris say my name every single conference. He doesn't know who I am, but he will eventually. And then it just, guys, and it just progresses over time, as it should progress, because as you become more successful, you become a better version of yourself each and every day. So, it went from, I don't want to look at menu prices to I'm going to be a millionaire and the first one in my family. So I would just say, no matter where you're at now, no matter where you're starting off, you can always get there, but you got to know what you're attacking and constantly chase those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Isn't it awesome to hear where he started? And now look at him. So if your goal, it may seem way out of, hey, every year Scott's going to call my name. If that's your goal, that's your goal. I love it. D-Win, easiest way to create obsession is to cut any plan Bs. This is plan A. This is plan B. This is plan C. A study shows that people who have plan Bs often drop their performance for plan A because they emotionally detach from it. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. This includes that roughly 50 to 70% of all people who create plan B will default to it. Probably a lot of truth to that. So cut any plan Bs and make sure you'll do anything to make plan A work. Yeah. And the real question is like, hey, has somebody else done it at a high level? Is it even possible? The answer is hell yes. Now the key is to stay persistent and do anything and everything in our power to make sure we hit that goal. Because there's a tribe around you that you can use to help you hit your goal of whatever it is, right? Unless your goal is to write 500,000 issued paid this year, I don't know how to do that. I can teach you how to write 290,000, and George can help teach you how to write 300 and something thousand, whatever he did in 2022. We just have to go to our resources around us. The people that love us, people care about us, people that want to see us win. We just got to ask them for advice and apply. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. I can put the 6 steps in the group chat if you'd like. And anybody got anything else? House cleaning stuff there, corn cob. Make sure everybody's got a ride to the conference. We should be good on rooms.
I don't have anything.
Sweet. Let's rock and roll. Thanks for sticking around, fellas. And we will catch you on the flop. Peace.